Hello, everybody. We are back. It is another live streams. It's Battle Lines. We are back. It's been a busy Christmas period for us, and flipping heck, it is content, isn't it? Make sure you're checking out the stuff from the other day, I should say, and today. I have created a second channel, everybody. Link will be in the description below after the video. I might have to just stick it in the chat or something like that, because I actually don't think I've put it in the description below, which isn't helpful, Connor, but I will link it and pin it in the chat. We've spoken about Sunderland. We're going to be doing a bit on Sheffield United, Everton, Forest, all coming up. It is a general content channel, so really excited to get that one going. Bit of Leeds stuff, general football bits as well on the channel. We've been merging into other sides content-wise as well. But hope you're enjoying it so far along this period, this new year, this 2025 period. And I'm delighted to be joined by a man who shows up on the 18th of December when the Blades are top of the division. 3 points clear. A favourable run coming up as well. But when it all goes wrong, nowhere to be seen. And he's back at last. Sheffield United have got their win. Jimmy's back, everybody. Welcome him back to the show. The Blades Ramble. He's back. How are you doing, Jim?
I'm all right, thank you, pal. I'm all right. A couple of things.
Go on.
Just before we get started, a bit of housekeeping, if you like. Favourable run for Sheffield United. Don't know where that's coming into the equation.
I had you on 10 points, mate. I had you on 10 points. Never forget.
Well, that's because you're you believe in Sheffield United, and as do I. But it's one of those things where it were a difficult run, and we never thought we'd get 10 points out of them 4 or 5 games, to be honest. Secondly, all these Leeds fans that think I've been ducking coming on, it were Christmas Day. If any of you can get a pass to come on and talk to Connor for an hour on Christmas Day, then you're a better person than me, because there were no way I was getting a pass for coming on. So I'm ducking note. I am here. I am sized up, ready for my shirt, if need be.
It helps, doesn't it? Jim, it helps off the back of a win, doesn't it? Keeps that smile on your face.
It does, mate. Yeah, it does. What a brilliant win at Watford. How do you get on against Hull?
Oh, here we go. Well, it is Blades top of the division. I keep forgetting that you've got those 2 extra points, which works, doesn't it?
We have. That's right. Wilder man.
Andy, who was a Clarets fan, 2 Yorkshire Titans. Good lads, though, up the Clarets. Lewis says, brilliant first video on the new channel. Connor, looks like the deal is done, so fingers crossed. Yeah, something about to pull off an absolute madness, which I still can't quite believe, to be honest. Everybody in the comment section.
Do we know what Luffy is yet?
I think I'm. Do you know what I did on the new channel as well? I was doing the editing afterwards, and I was like, I said something like, I wonder what the fee is, and I was supposed to do a close up on my face, and I didn't, and so I was just looking at the camera like that. I wonder what the fee is, and it's like really
Partridge style.
Yeah. Right, mate. Well, how was your Christmas anyway? All good?
All good, mate. Thank you. Yeah. Can't complain at all. Really nice time with the family, and yeah, not so good football wise for Sheffield United, but then it was always going to be a difficult period for us. We had a lot of players. Listen, I'm not crying poor tail to you guys, because I know a lot of squads have had players missing and things like that. This is where our squad depth has really hit us. Whereas Burnley can lose a couple of players and replace them with decent quality. You can lose a couple of players and replace them with decent quality. We can't. We're on his last legs. And even to get that result at Watford were just brilliant, because we weren't even expecting it. And now that is the weakest point of our season done. So we will not be as weak again. We're going to have an extended break now. Obviously, there's Cardiff to come tomorrow, which I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow night. But other than that, we're not playing again in the league till the 18th. So players will get a rest. We've got players back. Vinny Souza, Ty Campbell, all your big hitters. Gus Hamer's going to be fit. So, yeah, other than Ollie Arblaster and obviously Harry Suter, who's gone back now, we're expecting a couple of loans in as well before then. So, yeah, all looking good for us moving forward. I'm happy we've got the most difficult period, in my opinion, out of the way. So, yeah, how about yours, mate? How was your Christmas, pal?
Yeah, it was good. It was actually quite an unusual period for Leeds, because normally it's a difficult one. We're normally crap during Christmas. We were crap during Christmas last season. Preston loss, and then Sunderland loss, and we came into it. It was 10 points out of 12. Leeds had done a pretty decent job, to be honest with you. Obviously, sorting out the away form, which was big. Hadn't conceded in 2, Derby and Stoke, which found out later on from other teams it was probably a bit of a difficult place to go. Stoke obviously been a thorn in Burnley's side as well, the 0-0 going to Turf Moor, and then obviously Derby beating West Bromwich Albion at home, 2 back-to-back wins, and then we managed to get the one there. Not a great last 2 games. I think Blackburn, I look at Blackburn and I think it is just what it is with Eustace and Leeds United. He just seems to have a little bit of a knack over
Who doing it?
It is a hoodoo. Yeah, we just can't seem to break it, and they will be a little bit of a nightmare, I think, in the playoffs for Leeds United. But last one wasn't a good one at all. We'll get into that. It was a really poor performance from Leeds all the way around, I thought. But yeah, you lads going down to Watford, getting a good win, an injury riddled Sheffield United going down there and getting a good win. And I think it's a conversation of a tale of 2 goalkeepers, isn't it? Because I tell you what, mate, we have Mr. Cooper in that, and I'd argue we'd be about 6 points clear by now. But it does feel like that right now. It does feel like at the weekend, Cooper had another really good game, and it just shows the importance of having someone decent between the sticks, doesn't it?
He's class. He's absolutely top. I think he's best in division. I appreciate James Trafford's in the conversation. But if you look at value for money, there's nobody better in this league. I think Meslier, I love him, mate. I love him. I don't know what you guys, what's wrong with you guys? Just cut the guy some slack. What a shot stopper he is. All staff at Ellen Road seem to rate him. So, it's I don't know what he were doing, mate, for them, particularly last 2 goals. But that one where he jumps up higher than it, knocks it back down to Kamara. Just, mate. I
can't defend it. It got to a point. I just can't defend it.
He's blatantly.
I can't come in here and back. You want to back your player because he's a Leeds player, but it's probably similar. The bomb scare that you've got in your lineup in Jack Robinson. At centre back. I know you've got problems with him, but for me, the bomb scare.
You said it, not me.
But yeah. I think the problem for us is between the sticks, which I think is just a crucial position. And I think I think the last line of defense is massive, isn't it? And he's the last line of defense. So
a top striker and a top goalkeeper are your 2 most valuable players out there, I think. And that's, obviously you need strength all over the pitch. You've got strength in depth all over the pitch. Apart from what's Caldallo got to do, by the way? I always thought he was a decent keeper. I know he's getting on a little bit. Is he getting anywhere near coming in? Because what it looks like Meslier is, he's bulletproof in terms of not coming out of the side. And that's great for us, because if you're an opposition player going against Meslier, now all you're doing is you're saying, get corners in, win as many corners as you can, or free kicks, put it on top of him, anything like that. Just pressure the keeper, because you've seen the player's reaction to him. You know how bad. And then there were rumours, weren't there, that, because of his poor form, Leeds are now going to listen to offers for him. But from what I understand, and you'll be able to put me right here, that's not the case, and they're actually looking to stick with Meslier and not be that active in January. Is that right? Is that what's the latest is?
Yeah, and the thing is as well, Jim, and look, banter aside as well, because I've given him more banter and more criticism than anyone else. But there's a person who's this is just more of a general chat. Normally we've got a bit of structure, but you've been ducking for about 3 weeks, so we've come back on now. We're just gonna have a general chat, but let's just talk about it free flowingly. Really, when you look at, as we just said, the importance of a goalkeeper between the sticks. And it looks like probably there's a bit of backing at Leeds United, but it feels, Jim, that from an outsider's perspective, if you're Daniel Farke, Illan Meslier is the one being picked. So you've got someone who in Caldallo has got a rap sheet of experience. He's 34 years of age. We can go on and on and on about it, mate, but it feels right now the right management is to put the goalkeeper who's second in command in between the sticks, and I think that's how I see it right now. The thing is, Jim, you don't need a worldie keeper. I don't need the best keeper in the division. It'd be nice to have a Cooper, it'd be nice to have a Trafford, but I think our squad outfield is exceptionally good. If you just have someone, and the statistics show you this right now, if you have someone who just doesn't make mistakes, Leeds are in an even greater footing than they are right now, which is still top of the league.
You can only play 11 though, can't you? And goalkeeper, obviously there's only 1 or 2 or 3 in the squad usually that you can pick from. So if you haven't got strength in depth in arguably your most important position, then it's a huge weak point. You can have as much strength in depth as you want all over the pitch. Sides are more than likely going to get a couple of shots on target a game against you at least. It's always going to be a vulnerability for you. And why, when you've invested that much money into your squad and you've got that strength in depth, which makes you very comfortable going into most games, why wouldn't you strengthen the one position that's a glaring weakness in your side? I don't understand it personally. It mind boggles.
Yeah, it's a problem, I feel, and I think, look, Leeds have got. I mean, I did a video on it today. I think I would say that the owners have recruited, and I know it's going to pain you to say it, Jim, and I think there's probably blades in the chat who will be pained saying it. I think Andy, the Burnley fan, and a couple of other Burnley fans who I know tune in, might be a little bit lesser burnt by it, because I know we've got a bit of a Yorkshire rivalry going, but I think you would look at Leeds' side. It's a smallish squad, only 24 members of our squad, but I think the 49ers have recruited exceptionally well. I think as a squad of 18, we've spoken about it on the channel before. There's a lot of depth there, and it's not just depth; it's quality and depth. The bench, pretty much every single game, we're looking at players on there, and we're thinking, flipping heck, that's a very, very good bench at this level. So it's just a glaring error between the sticks, and you sort that out. And I mean, you can sort it in house. You can sort it in house. That's how good the depth is. You can sort it in house.
I don't. Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because you look at some of the players we've been having to field. Ryan Brewster has not done it in years for us. We keep trying with him. We started with Ryan One, an 18-year-old up top on his own against Watford. That's how bare bones we are. We had 4 academy players on bench. I don't think they've made a senior appearance between them. So that is how light we were. So the problem you've got now is we're only going to get stronger from here. If we bring in a Brereton Diaz and a Chowdhury, for example, that don't mean they're going to be world beaters, and it don't mean they're going to be the absolute difference, but it does mean that we're going to have a little bit more quality and depth now. So if we lose 1 or 2 players, then we can rotate them out. So it makes it a much more even playing field. I've always said I'm confident with our first 11 that we are a match for anyone in this division, and that busy period's just done us completely in terms of the depth, and that's where you should have pulled away. And you haven't managed to pull away, and that must be it's a bit of a difficult position, because people who aren't in it will be saying, well, how can you criticise Leeds as a Leeds fan when you top at league? But you should probably be doing better than you are, because there's been the opportunity to pull away, and frustratingly for you, you've not taken it. We're delighted because yes, we've swapped positions and we're now 3rd. But we're delighted with the circumstances that we're within a point of you, which is, we were 3 points, I think, in front of you last time we were talking. And I'm coming on here more upbeat than you are, and people won't understand that. But if you live in it as a Leeds fan, you will know there has been the chance there to pull away and sort of start to cement your 1 foot in the Premier League. And it's just not happened, and it's frustrating, and I suppose it's quite nerve-wracking as well to a degree. Because if you're not going to strengthen in January, and us and Burnley are going to go for it a little bit because we have to, then as a Leeds fan, I'd be nervous about it. I would.
Well, I would.
We're going to get the same squad level as you, but it gives us a little bit more strength in depth, particularly us. So anyway, it's a tricky one.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would say is, I think the positive from when we last spoke, I think, on the last time I looked, I think it was the 22nd of December, Sheffield United were 3 points ahead of us. I think they had a home game coming up. It might have been either Burnley or
you were Burnley.
Burnley, and then it was West Brom, wasn't it? West Brom, I had you as a banker. I thought that you'd be winning that one. Burnley, I had you on, but for that one, but I can understand Burnley's away form's very good, and I think at that point, you were getting a few injuries. But what I would say is, I guess if you'd have said to me that we're sort of a point ahead of you by now, I'd have probably took it at that stage, even though I know it could have been greater, 100%. But I probably didn't expect, and our previous conversation, I didn't expect over Christmas time, what happened to Sheffield United. I guess I didn't predict it, but I think that the only thing I would say, Jim, is in this transfer window, if I'm being fair, is I think you have to do business. I think there is an argument that us not having to do business, which I still, even with the goalkeeper, don't think we have to do because of our second in command, who we just need not to make mistakes. Like the French hologram, the polo mint, the French bagel in net right now, everything goes through him. He's a big hole. If he's not in between the sticks and we just have Carl Darlow in there, I think Leeds would be ready. I think we'd be fine. And I would rather be in Leeds' position where the squad is sorted and the recruitment is spot on. And a lot of the players who've come in have been nigh on perfect in terms of what we've paid for them and how they fit into the squad and how they've performed in comparison to Sheffield United, who, by your words, had to bring in, as of a week ago, sort of 5 players. They have to gain the partnerships. They have to gain that cohesiveness and that synergy. I think that will take a little bit of time. I think Leeds are in it right now, of which they all sort of understand those little increments, which I think is big.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the only counter to that I would say is we had that same issue at the start of the season where we brought in the team that started the season, I think, had 7 new players in it. So there were no sort of cohesion there in the side. And we started off like house on fire this season. So, yeah, we're up against it a little bit. You could use the points deduction as a bit of motivation while they're using us as the underdog tag and things like that. And we've no longer got that, really, because we're seen as a big hitter in the league again, which is right. We do have to bring in players. If we bring in Brereton Diaz, he's already played for us. So, and it's looking likely that that's a deal we're going to do. He slots in beautifully on the left. It means Gus Hamer can move inside, which I think is problems for the rest of the league. You're right, though. You've a more balanced squad overall than us. We are still trying to
I think you get that in your second season.
I
think you get that in your second season. I think second season's massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but you've also, with that balance, you've lost a couple of big hitters. You know, you've lost Somerville and Rutter, and you know, you have to balance it. Balance being the key word, obviously. But
I'd take the squad now. I'd take the squad now. I'd set the squad now.
I know you would. I know we've said that before, and that's fair enough because you have got that. You settled a lot more, aren't you, in terms of what you can do. I still question the manager, to be honest. I don't know what Ramazani's got to do to get minutes. If I'm honest, I think when he played us, he ripped us to bits, and he might be off form. And I don't watch you enough to say whether it's justifiably dropping him or whether he's been carrying an injury or whatever. But there's some decisions that he makes, like bringing Bamford on. And I know this isn't to gaslight any Leeds fans or anything like that, because you're right. You've got the most balanced squad, and you're a point in front of us and Burnley at the minute. So you're the side to chase. But I think we've got our more difficult fixtures out of the way now. So I'm a lot more comfortable with where we are, knowing what we've had to go through, knowing the challenges we've had in front of us as a club. I was dreading this period. I thought it were very likely we would certainly be knocked off top spot, and you know, as long as we were in touching distance, were my thing really, and we are. So a lot of Blades are delighted with where we are at the minute, and we'll rock up to Norwich much stronger than we have been in the last 4, 5, 6 games. So it feels like we are now about to regain some momentum, or we're certainly confident that we can do. So did Leeds take advantage enough of our blip? Don't know.
Yeah, I think interestingly as well, and this is something that I spoke to Benjamin Bloom about, and my dad last night. My dad, Mailman, was on a Patreon podcast that we did, and we spoke about where in the season there can be a lot of advantages, and you know, obviously this Christmas period was big. Leeds have got a period of which it's Coventry away, then we've got you away, then we've got Burnley away, or it's Burnley away first, I think, then it's you. I'll have a quick look. I think it's that's sort of our tricky period. Hold on a second.
Burnley first, isn't it, I think.
So it's Burnley, then it's Coventry away, then it's Watford, Sunderland, Sheffield United. So that's a tricky period. 100%. How I look at it, Jim,
it's a nightmare period.
It's a tricky period. 100%. You're right. Yeah. How I look at it though is I'll bring it back around. I think because it's going to be so tight this season, our goal difference for me is massive. I think that can act as an extra point. I think if we've been honest, I think that is absolutely huge in football seasons. I think, especially when it's tight. I was even thinking last season with Leicester and Ipswich, as long as our goal difference is okay, which it was last season, we're going to be in with a chance here. Obviously, those two were just flying at one point, so it was quite difficult. But I do look at the back end of the season. I look at the last sort of 3 to 5 fixtures. I look at the fact that you're playing Burnley again. I look at the fact that you're playing Blackburn again towards I think it's in your last 3 games, whereas we've got Stoke at home, we've got Bristol City at home, and Plymouth away, which is a beautiful run for Leeds United at the end of the season. And the 2 fixtures before are Oxford and Preston as well. So Leeds have got 5 fixtures right at the end where if we're just in touch, you know, even if it's 3rd, 2nd, whatever it is, even if it could even be 4th with Sunderland in the mix. But, you know, even there and thereabouts, Jim, I feel like if we just get to that point, I think that last 5, those last 15 points, it's a marathon, isn't it? Not a sprint, I think will be big.
Agreed. And yeah, it's the Burnley game that not worries me, because obviously you've got to get there first and you've got to still be in touch. But as I look at our difficult fixtures remaining, somebody in comments here has just put halfway through the season, how is the hard run over? I understand what you're saying with that, but what I'm talking about is current runs of form, places that we've now been to Ellen Road, we've been to Stadium of Light, we've been to Middlesbrough, we've been to Watford, we've been to Blackburn. So we've done all that. They're all boxed off. The next time we play them, other than Burnley, it's all at home. So you'd think that leans slightly towards us. We've played Sunderland twice already. We've played West Brom twice already. So they're done. They're banked. Another thing I worry about is I think we don't always turn up for the big games at the moment because we are slightly disjointed. So
that's where it's annoying with us, Jim. That's where it's annoying with us. We turn up for the big games, but we don't turn up for the other games. That's the thing.
Your eye off the ball, don't you, against a Hull or a Blackburn? Not a Blackburn, because they've done well this season, but games that you're expected to. Because I remember coming up to this run of games, and you were thinking, and a lot of Leeds fans rightly were thinking, this is our chance now to sort of turn it around a little. And you have, because you're in front of us. Yeah. But I'd have just thought you'd have been further away, which that's why we're so pleased, because not only are Burnley still in touching distance in second, because we're on the same points as them, there's more than touching distance, we cuddling, but you are only a point away in first as well. So Sunderland are not going away. I know that we were all sort of, they'll probably fall off. And if they get this Lafitte character, it looks an absolute blooming steal from what I've had a look at. So they will not. It's going to be a 4-horser, isn't it? I think so. Can't count them out either. And we've played them twice, like I say. So it's
because I know you had injuries.
I'm okay with where we are at the moment.
Well, you had injuries for that one as well, but I tell you what, didn't they have injuries? Flipping heck! I mean, they had to. I don't know how he's done it. He's done what a job he has done. No parachute payments involved whatsoever. He's done a fantastic job.
I think I don't know whether it were on a 90 after 90 some sort of stream that I were doing about the game, and I was sort of saying, yeah, but Sunderland have got nothing like our injury list. And to be fair, I got absolutely hammered by Sunderland fans, and rightly so, because I had no idea they had the catalogue of injuries that they did, because it was huge. So apologies to any Sunderland fans. I've already said it on Ramble. I'll say it on here as well. Definitely. You were right. They were a weakened team. And because I saw that, well, they only had Tom Watson out and they only had Chris Rigg out, but they didn't. There were about 8 or 9 that they had out as well. And to be fair, you know, we could have taken the points that day, but at Bramall Lane, they could have taken the points. And I think 3 points to each side, which is how it's ended up, is probably fair across both games. So, yeah, fair play to Sunderland. Yeah, I wish they would go away, but they won't.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I think maybe at Bramall Lane they were the better team overall, but I think probably if you were to be fair in terms of just who I thought might nick it at the Stadium of Light, I thought you might edge it. I think they were so dangerous. I thought with Meander and Isidore on that counter attack. And by the way, Isidore for Anel was just chasing shadows for that. Thierry Henry won it. Bloody hell, what a finish!
Honestly, mate, this is what annoys me really, because since Harry Souttar's gone out and been injured, Anel looked brilliant next to Harry Souttar. He trusted him completely. It's a little bit like the goalkeeper situation with you, I suppose. We've had it before when we've had a bad goalkeeper. If they don't trust the goalkeeper, then they're nervy in everything that they're doing. And you can tell that they don't want to pass back to the keeper. They don't want to involve him in things. Well, Anel was really comfortable alongside Harry Souttar. And I don't think he trusts Robinson. And that's a big concern of mine, really, because he looks like he's trying to take too much responsibility on himself then. And like you say, he can't do everything. And he makes himself look poor at times. He were out of position. He got done by Isidore. That Isidore looks a player, by the way. And yeah, he were exposed. So it's something we need to definitely be looking at centre half this month, definitely. I'll be amazed, and I'll be really annoyed if we don't.
Kiefer Moore still flavour of the month or not?
Kiefer Moore's a great signing for Sheffield United. He's not quite hit the heights that we do.
He's not. I've not said he's not. I just asked if he's still flavour of the month. I've just seen a few rumbles on the ramble. I'm just interested. Is he still
few rumbles? Yeah, there's split opinion on Kiefer Moore because he hasn't played very well recently. In all honesty, he had a standout performance against Cardiff where he won us the game single-handedly with 2 great finishes. And other than that, he struggled for form, but he works hard. And I think you can tell with the way he works that he will work his way through this bad form. We know there's a player in there. I don't think we necessarily play to his strengths, but I'm not going to let him off the hook. I think he's not been up to the standard that we were wanting. I still think he's a good signing for us. I don't know if he's the main man, to be honest. If we could bring in, we've been rumoured to be in for Tom Cannon and Emil Rees, I would be happy with that. Particularly if we go with a 2. I don't think we will, but I think he needs some competition up there. Tyrese Campbell's coming back as well for Norwich, hopefully. So firepower on the way. That's what I'm hoping, because Ty Campbell were on fire before he went out injured, and Kiefer Moore, knowing he's got the shirt, doesn't always live up to expectations.
I think the problem with him is I've seen quite a lot of it, and I know Ryan Brewster was getting hammered a little bit, and from a tactical perspective, I thought it was quite interesting though, and I will push back a little bit. There was a game that you were playing at home. It might have been West Bromwich Albion, or I can't remember who it was. It was over the Christmas break, and I was watching Ryan Brewster, and there was a couple of passes from that centre attacking midfield position, Jim. And what I will say as well, bear in mind, we can talk about Ilan Melier starting in that goalkeeper position. There's a man picking him. There's a man picking Ryan Brewster in that number 10 as well when he's got 2 10s either side. What I will, we have to concede that when Brooks is on the bench. Brooks is on the bench as well, mate, who I think as a championship could be a starter. But I think there's a lot of times where maybe Ryan Brewster in that cam position was trying to release the ball a little bit quickly. I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't think he gets the ball out of his feet. And when I've watched Brewster, he's looking for that pass really quickly. The problem is that is not Kiefer Moore's game. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to build out wide with Kiefer Moore. You're going to have to build out wide. There's going to have to be pacey wingers. They're going to have to do the man. There might be a little combination, a little bit of an overload, and the ball then has to go into Kiefer Moore, or he drops back and links with the midfield. The problem is with Brewster is I feel he was trying to play these quick through balls in, which I don't think was a bad idea, but it's more of a Tyrese Campbell game, not a Kiefer Moore game.
You've nailed it, mate. You've nailed it. It's one of them where I sort of touched around not playing to his strengths, Kiefer Moore, and that's part of it. Again, he's got to be aware of what and anticipate what his teammates are looking to do as well. So I don't always think it's not his game particularly, but he's got to fit into the team ethos as well. So I don't completely let him off the hook for that, even though, as I say, I'm a big fan of his. We've seen it with that were obviously an isolated game with Ryan Brewster, and I know which one you're talking about because there were a couple of times where there were a quick release from Brewster in the 10. And Moore was the wrong side of the defender to get to the ball and things like that. And you're just groaning all the time because they're not.
It'd be an excellent ball for someone like Mateo Joseph. For Mateo Joseph as well, it'd be a terrible ball for Joel Peru. It'd be a terrible ball for Peru.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. And we've seen it with not only Brewster, but predominantly it's been Callum O'Hare. So Callum O'Hare's been in the 10 for us. And him and Kiefer Moore have not linked up well at all, unfortunately, because they're two good players at this level, but there's just no chemistry at all between them. When Tyrese Campbell's in the team, you see the clever balls down the side from Callum O'Hare. Tyrese Campbell's onto him, cuts inside. You can see the chemistry between those two that isn't there for Kiefer Moore. If we're going to play Kiefer Moore, we have to be a little bit more cute about how we're going to accentuate his strengths and play to his strengths a little bit more, I think, personally. He does have to do more, but it's a tough job up front on your own, particularly when you're not necessarily a ball player. You're more of an impact sort of, can take a shot from outside area. I understand that, but you want to be playing high balls up to Kiefer Moore, don't you? And linking play and bringing players in. We haven't been doing that. So, yeah, tricky.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it's a bit of a tough gig for him. We'll just get into a few of the chats. Good evening, fellas. Go on, Jimmy, give it to him. Banter aside, It sounds a bit ruthless, that Nige. I've not seen Nige. Honestly, mate, I've not seen him for a while. You know, you need to get yourself back on the channel now, you've won, mate. It's not only Jim. Dyed the hair again, Connor, or have they run out of dye? They've run out of it, mate. It's all gone. I've had it all cut out. Danny Boy says, think Blades will pip Leeds to a title, especially the signings that we are linked with. Just think the arrogance and the lack of top keeper will have. The thing is, Danny's going through the chat as well, and he's basically just saying how Sheffield United are going to win anything. Danny, you are the arrogant one in this chat, lad. What are you doing?
Dan, come
Danny,
on,
be
Dan.
humble. Be humble, Danny.
We're better than this. We're better than this, Danny. Come on.
Grunge says Danny Boy thinking Blades will pip us and call us arrogant. Yeah, there we go. Sheffield United fans are popping up quicker than whack-a-moles. You've all been extinct for 3 weeks. Andy says
Christmas.
Andy says no bias here between Leeds and Sheffield. Do see it as Leeds to lose. Just replace the keeper. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on that as a neutral, Jim? Do you think it still is Leeds is to lose, or is it what? I mean, obviously we're top of the table, aren't we? So I guess that would be the case, or do you see it as maybe a little bit different?
Yeah. No, it's yours to lose. It's definitely yours to lose. But it should be, shouldn't it? It should be yours to lose. If we're admitting that you've got probably the best squad in the league. Yeah. And we compete very well when we've got a fully fit 11, hopefully soon to be 14, 15. But I think Burnley have got a very good squad as well. I think it's probably shaking out about fair at the moment, even though we have accrued the most points across the season. I think Chris Wilder's clearly done a phenomenal job. All we needed to do was keep in touch with you till the window opened. And now the window's open. I'm absolutely buzzing about it. So, yeah, it's yours to lose, definitely. But we've seen it before, haven't we? And you have lost it before, in all honesty. So it's, can you hold your nerve, and can this goalkeeper be the one to see you through? I'm not entirely sure.
There's absolutely no need for that. Didn't have to bring anything up from the past, but there we go. Okay, Chris Kingy says, Chris, I just thought, I was listening to you then, I was agreeing with you, but you just had to stick the knife in, didn't you?
You were posting your new channel in the chat. You weren't listening to me at all.
That is true. Yeah. Multitasker, mate. Multitasker. Chris says, last season we had 3 teams in the running. We finished 4th best due to team mismanagement. It's happening again, but with 4 teams now instead. See, guys, on our channel, we don't just glaze Leeds a lot. We're in the middle. We're a balanced channel. I see we've go on. What have you got to say?
I would like to bring your attention to a thumbnail that you put up before the Hull game. Do you know where I'm going with this, Connor?
No, mate, I've not come with receipts. I just thought we were here for a friendly chat.
We are here for a friendly chat, but if you're going to call us Blades arrogant and Leeds,
I didn't call you arrogant. We got called arrogant.
No. You said I think it's the Blades that are arrogant in this chat, something like that. Anyway, I can't find it now, but we're definitely here because I flashed it up on my stream after you'd been on. Hull. You set up your StreamYards really, really professionally. You get your watch along there, and then you've already pre-populated your post-match, haven't you? So you've done a thumbnail for your post-match before the result.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your thumbnail was? Have you got it there?
Well, I was doing it through the game, and we'd won.
Have you got your thumbnail there? Have you got it there? No, you weren't. No, you weren't. This was before kickoff.
If I had, I'm not going to show what the thumbnail was anyway. But what was it?
I'll tell you what it was. It was 3 points much needed against Hull. This was before kickoff. Before kickoff.
Yeah, it was. 3 points were much needed. You know what I mean? I was selling.
Yes, 3 points.
Much needed.
Get Hull in that rear view. Oh, hang on. Where's them 2 points gone? Mellier's dropped them.
Oh, the front.
Exactly.
Mikey says, you're just an arrogant Blade. That's what you are. Mikey says, much more balanced squad, but still only 1 point in front. What's the issue then? Mike says, he's decided to turn up at last. He has. He's here. Last. Cool and Luke, probably the best name on the stream so far. Sunderland have signed Enzo Lafitte on loan with an option to buy. Yeah, very, very, very good. I guess we've got to talk about them. Looking all right, aren't they? They're just not going away, and I think that's probably going to be the first of maybe a couple of additions for Sunderland.
Yeah, maybe so. Don't know much about him other than what I've seen since the news came out that he's coming. So you watch a highlight package and you think, oh no, don't really want to watch this. But as I've already talked about, we've played Sunderland twice. Enzo Lafie is not going to directly hurt Sheffield United, whereas he may well pop up in the last minute against Leeds, like glance one into Mellier's arms, and somehow it ends up in back at net. So that could well happen. It's happened before at Sunderland. So it's, I'm happy to get those games out of the way, particularly the teams that are strengthening. Obviously, none of us want to be in playoffs. We're all aiming for automatic. I'll worry about Enzo Lafie, Pepe Le Pew, whatever he's called, when we, at the end of the season. And if we have to play him, then that's when I'll worry about him.
I think the best suited team for the playoffs would be Burnley, pretty much, because they just don't concede goals. I cannot believe they've still conceded 9 goals. It's
ridiculous. They are so professional.
Do you think it's them and one of us? It feels like that for me.
I didn't.
No.
I thought it were us two, if I'm honest. I thought it were going to be us two. And but I don't. The only thing that that gives me hope is Scott Parker, because I'm still not on the Parker train. So we'll see. I think you can pick fault in all 3 sides, really. I don't think Burnley are the finished art. I think they're efficient, really professional, like just a well-oiled machine at the minute and just grinding out results. But how many times can you go and nick the odd win by 1 goal? I'm not too sure, because I don't think they've really got a potent attack. You've got a very dodgy goalkeeper, in my opinion. That's just fact, isn't it, really, that will chuck. He's probably chucked 4 points away, maybe more already this season. And we haven't got the depth, or we haven't had the depth. So I think we've all got things where we can point to that might be our downfall. Sunderland, I don't think they've necessarily got the experience in the side to sort of see through some consistency, but they're so far so good for them, to be fair. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting run, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. To be fair, I'm more excited about it than I am dreading it, if that makes sense. I'm enjoying it rather than sort of not looking forward to it.
Yeah, Burnley is so boring, almost Farke levels of boring. Yeah, Chris is not a fan at all of Daniel Farke. This guy hasn't mentioned the 2 points in what he hasn't, to be fair. Well, they're still top, aren't they, Sheffield? They're still top, so we're still chasing.
We have accrued the most points in the division so far. If you want me to mention it, Nick,
in Jim's mind, they're top right now, so you just got to play to the gallery.
Chris Wilder maths. I follow the Messiah. So.
Chris Wilder maths. Let's have a look. Jim Bob says, stats saying Melee has been the cause of 7 points dropped.
Jamie Dumpling, welcome to the chat.
Yeah. Terrible.
Can I just say, Jamie was on one of my live streams. We do a phone in for Patreons.
Is this
on one of my live streams?
Is this Jamie? Jim Bob,
yeah. And I'd been talking, so we've been doing bits. And when I eventually got to him, we went, actually, I've just got to go. My tea's ready. My mum's made me some tea. I'm having dumplings. What? I've just come to you for a call. And you have to have dumplings. So Jamie Dumpling now, and he's never getting rid of it. So sorry, I had to go off on a tangent there, but he deserves it. So
that's fair enough. I just thought it was a second name, to be honest. Andy says Parker done very well to sort the mess, but it's defo. But it's not defo Burnley. We struggle with average teams at home. Defo feel. Yeah, I think the thing with Burnley is it feels like, you come up against your Stokes, your Derbys, and maybe if there is a little bit of a low block there, and Burnley is struggling to create a high volume of XG. They're not going to concede, but they are going to drop points. I think the worry for me with Burnley is they're not losing games, and that is, if you're not losing games and you're just picking up points over and over and over again, that's not the worst case scenario, really, is it? And that's why I kind of worry about them. I think, like I said, they'd be an excellent playoff team. They really would.
I were really hopeful for Blackburn to get something out of that game, and when they've beaten Blackburn, you think, this ain't good. This ain't good, really, because that's a really good win for Burnley, and it just continues their momentum, doesn't it? And don't look like letting up anytime soon, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Sunderland as well. We have to talk about them as well, I guess. They're obviously Lafie coming in, and I know we've mentioned it just briefly there, but obviously they're beaten yourselves. They've beaten Portsmouth in the last 2. They had a bit of a stumble before that, didn't they? They stumbled at Blackburn and they stumbled at Stoke. How do you see Sunderland at the minute? Obviously Burnley coming up away for them as well, by the way. We're talking about having Sheffield Wednesday. I think you've got Norwich, is that right? You've got Norwich, and then
Norwich at home, yeah.
Yeah, and then so Burnley have got Sunderland at home, which is an interesting one, really. That's probably the tough one for both sides. Can't really predict that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a tough game. We want to draw, don't we? Essentially, we want to draw that game because this is the thing. We've sort of done that difficult, played Sunderland twice. You've still got to play Sunderland again. You've still got to play Burnley. You've still got Burnley have still got to play Sunderland. It's all to come into it, and the difficult fixtures, and there will be points dropped. So it's you can't count Sunderland out. I think the only thing is now that they're no longer under the radar. They're no longer seen as that team that came up from League One. They are the team that gets 40-odd thousand a week. They're a team that has got Dennis Sirkin in the side, Patterson, who's a really good goalkeeper. They've got Joe Bellingham in the middle, who we all seem to just sometimes forget about, but he could go this window for 20, 25 million quid, and then they reinvest it, knowing Sunderland. They've got Isadora, who we've talked about, who looked like an absolute beast against us. I know our defence has patched up a little bit, but looked really good against us. And now this Enzo Lafitte, you just bring in a Roma player, why don't you? And just sort of sticking a grenade in the middle of promotion race. So, yeah, I think he's a really good manager as well.
Are we talking about Sunderland in that top two? Or is it too far? Because I'm looking at it now. They're 9 points ahead. Quite staggering, a fifth now. It feels like it's completely cut off now between, fifth and, in Borough and the top four.
Can't count them out. Of course you can't count them out, mate. We've got, 22 games to go, something like that. 20 games to go, whatever it is. Are they 50 points and you're top on 53?
They're still shooting for the title, aren't they? They're still shooting for the title.
Of course they are. They're only 3 points. We were 3 points in front of you 3-4 games ago. It can swing like that, and we swing of 4 points over Christmas. So of course it's not done. They are well in this title race, never mind automatic race. There's 4 teams in a title race here. So I'll take second all day long. I don't need the title, but it's going to be really interesting to see how we go for the rest of the season.
Well, as well, Jim, looking at their last 5, because I'm just kind of seeing where because I don't think they'll be far off now, Sunderland. I think they're going to keep with the pack. Sunderland, Swansea, Bristol, Sunderland, Blackburn, which could be tough, but then Oxford, Sunderland, and Sunderland at home against QPR to finish the calendar year. So Blackburn's going to be a tough one in there, but 4 out of 5 fixtures there, you really would fancy Sunderland. So it's not a bad last run in for them either. So yeah, it does feel like they're going to be right in it. Maybe depth is going to be an issue for them. We keep talking about depth and a young squad. But I do remember us talking as Leeds fans about Ipswich last season, and they can't continue doing this. They can't continue leaving games to the last minute and winning 3-2 and 4-3 and 2, and they did it every single game.
Don't worry, they'll fall away. Yeah, don't worry, they'll fall. They're not going away. And it's 2 from 4, isn't it? It's definitely 2 from 4.
Yep. Macam on a mission says, I'd say Leeds win it, and any one of Sunderland or Burnley, Sheffield United looked poor when we played them twice with 6 first-team players missing. Interesting. Danny Boy says, I honestly think Trafford does lead. Let's talk about that, Jim. Trafford, obviously, we know Dubravka's going at nearly. I'm going to get in trouble for that one, aren't I? We know Dubravka's going at Newcastle, so it looks like they're going to be targeting potentially James Trafford. I feel like that would be a pretty big loss as well for Burnley. He's been excellent between the sticks, probably on the same level as Cooper, I guess.
It's brilliant for us if that happens. Absolutely brilliant, because he's as important to them as Cooper is to us. And I must admit, I wasn't really sold on James Trafford, and I didn't think he had a particularly impressive Premier League campaign. I thought they paid. Have I gone?
You've gone a little bit, mate. Do you want to give it a refresh if you want, and we can let you back in?
Yeah, refresh them. Come on then.
All right, mate. Hello, welcome back to the Blades Ramble. And I'm Jimmy, and I'm here with a lot of deluded spouts here. Just waiting for him to refresh now. We'll be back in a second. Is he back? Here he is. Hey, mate.
Back.
Sorry, something happened. I don't know. Something took over me. I don't know why I'm introducing the Blades Ramble. Blades, by the way.
I like it. I might think about giving you a job. Right. So, Trafford, I wasn't convinced by. I thought they overpaid for him, if I'm honest. I didn't think he had a particularly good Premier League campaign, but this season he's been very, very good. I mean, 9 goals conceded. It's not just down to Goalkeeper, as we know. They've got a very solid defence, and I think as a unit, they're just really difficult to break down. But he has saved them a lot of points this season as well. Really good shot stopper, become a lot more confident in commanding his area as well when it comes to things like corners and free kicks. So, yeah, it'd be a huge loss to them. Huge loss. And let's hope there's some apologies to Andy and to my mate Joe and a few others. But let's hope that happens, because that significantly weakens Burnley. I know obviously they'll go in for a replacement, and it just depends who they get. But I think that's a big blow if Trafford leaves, and I can't see them allowing it, because surely they know what impact it's going to have on them. Maybe if they just said, because Nick Pope's still fit into playing for Newcastle, why don't they do a deal at end of the season? I don't know why that wouldn't be something.
Were those two together at Burnley as well, Pope and Trafford?
Yeah,
I don't think they were.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. No, Trafford came in as a Pope replacement, didn't he? So
do you know what I'd do if I'm Burnley? If I'm Burnley, I'm getting rid of, if Trafford's going in your pocket in, let's say 15, 20 million, I'm going and slapping 5 or 10 million, maybe just 5 to 8 million Stokes door for Victor Johansson. What a keeper, man. What a keeper.
Great keeper. Went for peanuts, didn't he? In summer, but he's on big money, which again for top end at Championship, it probably isn't big money. We weren't willing to pay it at the time, because we sort of considered it as a move, but we've probably got Cooper on a lot less, and I'd rather have Mike Cooper. But your options are dwindling, aren't they? And if, like you say, if you sold Meslier for 10, 15 million now, you could go and spend 5, 6, 7 of it on your Johansson, and you'll be paying him the same money probably. So it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer.
The crazy thing is, we could. I don't know how he's still going for this valuation, but it's always been touted at that sort of money. You know, Ren earlier on, Marseille with De Zerbi, it's always touted at that sort of money, even from their side. And I don't know how. Must have the super agent, but it is always touted at that money, Jim. I think there is still that level of, you know, he's had 200 plus appearances, and he's been with Bielsa in the Premier League. I think right now there's a lot of, you know, his rap sheet, I guess. I keep using that term quite a bit, but, you know, I guess he's being a Premier League keeper. He's got over 200 appearances. I think he's about 23, 24 years of age right now. But, you know, if they can cash in on him, they won't do it. But if they can cash in on him and do that, it's an open goal. It's not an open goal, but if they, you know, look, you got Cooper in for 2 million quid. Stoke got Victor Johansson in for 1 million quid from Rotherham. Cannot believe, you know, we wouldn't go in and do something similar.
Do you think we're getting something wrong with Meslier? Do you think because like you say, the valuation sticks. People outside of the club clearly rate him. On foreign shores, like they want to bring him back to Ligue 1 in France, and some Premier League clubs have talked about bringing him potentially as a number 2. And obviously, people at Leeds still really rate him because he's your number 1.
Yeah.
We are fans, and we don't proclaim to be experts in player analysis. We're just fans who enjoy breaking down the play and sort of giving our opinions on players and sharing it with the community. But maybe we're missing something. Maybe there's something that's underlying that he is better than the eye test. Because if you just went down to the eye test and you asked the average fan in the pub, what do you think of Meslier? A lot would say, nightmare is our weak link. And you can see it because he's dropped 1 at Sunderland, cost you 2 points. He's dropped 2 or been at fault for 2, I would say, against Hull, cost you another 2 points. There'll be other incidents throughout the season that you'll point to as well. Where is that valuation sticking from? I don't understand it. I don't get it. Because it's not, you wouldn't have thought, you know, Arsenal aren't lazy in the scouting. Having said that, Arsenal paid us 30 million for Ramsdale. Yeah, we were laughing all the way to the bank with that. So maybe it is just, you know, profile, and they look at international appearances and age and things like that, and club appearances for age. Maybe it's just a little bit of lazy, but I can't think that. Surely it's not something like that.
There was talk of him. There was talk of him going to Chelsea last season. He pretty much came out and said he wouldn't go to Chelsea and be number 2.
Well, you're balmy.
Do you know what I mean? This is what we're talking about right now. But you know, you've seen dafter things, haven't you, Jim? Like you said, Ramsdale from you, insane. I couldn't believe he went for that money. But you've seen dafter things, you know, and maybe that is it. Maybe it is the profile. What I'd say is, and this is something that I've not spoken about before. Me and the old man have spoken about it. Ampadu, Dan James, Joe Rodon, and Carl Darlow. What's the link there, Jim?
Ampadu, Chelsea reject. Dan James, Man U reject. Who's others?
Joe Rodon.
Swansea reject.
Your memory's terrible. You'd be awful in the quiz.
I'm shocking, mate, with stuff like that. So the link between Dan James, Carl Darlow, Peru and...
No, not Peru. Peru's not there. So we got so Ethan Ampadu, Dan James, Joe Rodon, and Carl Darlow.
Swansea.
Which is in?
Championship.
Guys, never get Jim on your. I was just trying to narrow it down for you, mate. Fucking hell. Sorry, mind my French.
What about Wales? Go to Wales and plucking out talent from Welsh teams.
So yeah, the point here is if you're Joe Rodon and if you're Dan James and if you're Ampadu, they're playing at international level with Carl Darlow, and Carl Darlow's playing. He's the starting goalkeeper. He's the GK.
Got you now. Got you. Right, wavelength. I'm back on it. I'm back on it. I'm in.
But let's be honest, mate. You've seen the still images, right? You've seen the still images of Joe.
I've seen the moving images. I've seen the moving images.
Well, I've tried, yeah. But I've been honest, mate, on it several times, and I think if you're Rodon, if you're Ampadu, and if you're Darlow, if you're James, you are all probably having conversations between you in a little WhatsApp group, a Welsh WhatsApp group, or whatever it is. And you're genuinely having conversations of how the hell are you not starting above this guy? I genuinely believe there'll be mates international. Am I crazy?
Group.
Welsh WhatsApp group. All right, boyos. That's what it'll be called.
Oh, you know what, mate? Why aren't you playing on Saturday?
They'll be called the boyos. But no, I think that'll be it, mate. I think they'll be having conversations. I think they'll be closer to Darlow than maybe a lot of people think. I think when you're a second choice goalkeeper, people sometimes think that you're just not with the squad, you're just not in it, especially if you're not featuring, but you will be. You'll be part of, the banter and all this sort of stuff, and you'll be closer than people think, especially if you're wearing international duty. I think they'll be having conversations saying, how the hell are you not getting in, mate? That's what
I agree.
A realistic chat.
What's he got to do? What's he got? Why is he there if he's not there to challenge the first team goalkeeper? I know he can't just be there in case of emergency, break glass and use Carl Darlow. It's he should be challenging, and I get this. He's not coming with a lot of fanfare or anything like that, but he were a really good goalkeeper right from his Forest days to Newcastle. I think he did really well at Hull as well, didn't he? When he played for Hull, he played really well, and then he's coming in his backup to yourselves. But is he really, or is he just there in case Meslier gets injured? Because that's what it looks like at minute, isn't it? So.
It does, mate. It does. Right, let's finish it off, mate, by going into some of the fixtures this weekend. We'll look into the Champo fixtures, and we'll have a look at some of the key games that are going on this weekend. We've narrowed a few, but we'll get some of the the top six change now, isn't it? Bloody hell, it's changing every week. But the championship fixtures here for the weekend. So starting off, mate, and everyone in the chat, you can interact as well. We've got Jim and we've got Connor, and we'll let your thoughts in the comment section below. But Burnley and Sunderland, mate, what are you thinking?
Really tough, really tricky fixture to call. Burnley don't concede many. I'm going to go 1-1 though. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Sunderland are good enough to score. And I think, I don't think Burnley have got enough to put more than one past them. So I'm going 1-1.
Okay. I'm going to go... Do you know what? I don't know about their injuries. I'm not sure about Sunderland's injuries. It seems to be changing every week.
They ain't got any. That's what I said on stream and didn't get annihilated for it. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
That's it. I'm gonna go with a. Do you know what, mate? I'm gonna go with a Burnley 2-1. Sorry, Sunderland fans.
Really?
Yeah, I think Burnley are gonna nick this one. Yeah. I just if Sunderland have still got the injuries that they've got, I just wonder how long that can persist, in terms of just getting all these sort of fortuitous results.
Makes sense.
It's been a narrow result against you, a narrow result against Portsmouth. They just got the job done, which they needed to. But I just wonder at a really top side at this level. I think they'll score. I think they've got enough quality to score. But I'm just not 100% sure they'll have enough to get the job. I tell you what, mate, another underrated player, by the way, Josh Brownhill. Don't get enough flowers for me.
Out of contract end of season.
Yeah, don't get enough flowers. I've never understood why.
What a player.
So Sheffield, Norwich. I guess there's no point in even And even
2-0 Blades.
2-0
Blades.
2-0
We've
Blades.
got us boys back, and I think we'll bounce into it, to be honest. So 2-0 Blades.
The boys are back in town. Yeah, we'll just get to 2-1 Sunderland, says Mikey. I'm going to go with the Desmond for that one.
Desmond against Burnley, who've conceded 9 all season.
9 against 2. 2-2 says Vega as well. 0-0.
Wow.
Yeah. Andy's gone with the 0-0 as well. Danny shockingly has gone 2-0 Blades. 2-1 Chef, says Carl. Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-1 Sheffield United for that one, I think. 3-1
Interesting.
Poo. Presumably that's a 2-2. Okay. Are West Brom still in there, Jim? I think they're still in there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're 6th.
Clinging on. West Brom Stoke. What we're going for?
1-0. 1-0 West Brom.
Yeah, safety. Like it.
It's
Robbins in it that's coming at Stoke. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the West Brom 1, Stoke City 2. Manager bounce.
Really?
Get up there.
Poison chalice though, Stoke for me.
4-0, 3-2 Sheffield United, 2-1 Blades, depending on sign suspension. Oh, yeah, okay.
Could be out for 8 games apparently for spitting us, Matt. So.
Oh, dirty. Norwich will beat Chef U, says.
Who's Tom Johansson?
Tom's a loyal follower. 2-1, 2-0.
You let yourself down there, Tom.
Okay, mate. Top 6. I'm struggling here.
Borough. He's Borough.
There we go. Okay, we'll go Borough. Okay, Pompey. Yes, I mean, what are you going with?
0-3.
Ooh, 0-3.
Yeah, Portsmouth are really poor.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with 0-2, and we'll move on to not quite the. Is a final one. I always do this. I've got 5. Is that right? 1, 2, 3.
Because you're right. Because it's Burnley and Sunderland playing each other.
There you go. Sorry. There you go. Thank God you figured that one out. Leeds.
Took me long enough with Welsh ones.
I tell you what. I say, look. Before we get into it,
I don't want to.
Before we get into it, lads, I've not even Sheffield United fans.
I don't want to play anymore.
Isn't this an interesting one? Leeds United versus Sheffield. Okay, I tell you what. What I'm going to get in the chat is I'm actually interested to hear this. I want to get a poll. Leeds fans, just chill out for this poll. So this is for all the Blades in the chat.
I can tell you now, it won't be a Wednesday win. It won't be a Wednesday win.
I'm just interested in this. Hate more Leeds United. Let us know in the chat. I'm looking at a few of your members, and I think Leeds could be winning this one. Who do you hate more, Leeds United or Sheffield Wednesday? We'll come back to it, but that's an interesting one. Jim, I think you're going with Leeds for that, being a wakey Blade.
We've been here before. You know that my personal gripes are more with Leeds due to my association with my hometown, but. I would never be cheering Wednesday. I'm going to be doing a watch along actually for this one. So I don't know how that'll go. I don't know. There'll probably be about 3 of us sat there watching like this because it's one of them that you hate. But
we've got 72% so far for the Blades saying, there might be some Leeds fans in there as well, but 72% saying Wednesday. So
I think you'll beat them. To be honest, I would be happy with a draw, but I think you'll beat them probably 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be narrow, going to be tight, but I think we'll beat them. I mean, I look at the team and I still think, I mean, Danny Roll is doing, to be fair to him, and I couldn't believe when I saw him in like the top 10. I was like, what is going on here? How are they in the top 10? Barry Bannon and co. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, I mean, in all fairness, we went to Hillsborough. They're not anymore. They were 9th, I think, at one point a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where are they now? They dropped.
I have no idea. I don't care. I don't look for them.
Right.
No, not bothered about them. Not bothered about them boys.
But I think they've dropped anyway. They might still be there or thereabouts. But Barry Bannon, you know, I look at a lot of the team, and I just think it's just not great quality. I think Danny Rawls doing a really good job at the minute. So we went to Hillsborough.
He's a really good manager. He's a good manager.
We went to Hillsborough, and they weren't really in the game, to be honest. And he was there obviously. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 Leeds win. I think they might nick one, but I'm going to go
not that tight then. It's going to be tight. It's going to be really tight. I think they'll nick one at end 3-1.
Yeah. No, I think 3-1. That's tight for them, isn't it? 2-1, 2-1. Leeds don't turn up against poor teams. Cricket score coming. Leeds don't turn up against poor teams. Cricket score coming. Do you understand that? Am I going mad?
No, unless it means all the way around and they're going to do you 5-0.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't have expected that Blazeman from the line, but fair enough. Farke can't play against good managers too. I mean, Chris, he's beaten him. He's beaten him this season, mate, 2-0. But fair enough. He's 3-1 tight. Yeah, probably not. I was going to go 2-1, but I thought that's too narrow. I think the Grinders. Are we the Grinders or are they the Grinders?
Grunters, I think they were going to go for. I don't know whether that's a typo. I don't know the Grinders. That might be just some sort of underground term that I'm not familiar with. So
there you go, Grunters.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah, 1-1. Right, okay, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll leave it there. They're interested on the chat. They've got Hate More Sheffield Wednesday. So we've got at the end of the weekend, that will be Sunderland and Burnley. Well, that will be Burnley dropping out, Leeds continuing at top of the table, and Sheffield United would go second at the end of that game week on Jim's side. For me, it would be as you were, with Sunderland just falling a little bit behind the top three. But right, Jim, we'll reconvene, mate, at some point, as we always do. Hopefully, you get yourselves a win at the weekend, and we'll see you next week. If not, just give us a message on where you want to come back on. Shout out to all the Blades fans.
What a joke!
Shout out to all the Blades fans. Mackham on a mission. What a lad! He said you're going to get beat 4-1 by Norwich, and Leeds are going to win 4-0. I think we've got a bit of a fan here, which is great. Shout out to you, mate. But yeah, we'll see you on the next Battle Lines, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed. Let us know in the comment section, Blades, Leeds fan, neutral fan, what you think of the show. Really appreciate it. Blades Ramble, please go check Jimmy's channel out. It's a fantastic channel. The best Sheffield United channel by a country mile. Go check it out, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you on the other side. Cheers.
Up the Blades.
Up the Blades.